Hey, True Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's March 20th, 2017, spring in the Northern Hemisphere. Today, the equinox. The big story is the passing of David Rockefeller, the face of Chase Manhattan, the banking company, the descendant of the family that established Standard Oil, possibly the most powerful corporation in the history of the United States of America. David Rockefeller died today for a very specific reason, and it has everything to do with the word order. Today was the absolute perfect date, March 20th, the spring equinox. I'm going to show you so many things that are mind-blowing about his death today. I'm also going to show you what it has to do with Henry Kissinger. In 1979, David Rockefeller and Henry Kissinger got a lot of negative publicity for protecting part of the Iranian political family. Today's the 79th day of the year. We're going to talk about what the number 79 has to do with spring and murder. They say in the, sickest wings of Satanism, the spring equinox is a date of human sacrifice. And if David Rockefeller is truly dead, he very well might have been the victim for 2017. So, we're going to talk about a lot here. Have on your listening ears. If you need to take a break, feel free to. We're going to cover a lot of information, but you want to finish this video. We're going to talk about David Rockefeller, Henry Kissinger, September 11th, so much more. So, David Rockefeller was easily the most responsible human being on the planet for what happened on September 11th, 2001. And if you don't know that, you'll know that by the end of this video. He was on the cover of Newsweek magazine April 3rd, 1967, with a wristwatch with the hands on 9 and 11. We're going to talk about why it was that date, what it had to do with the 93 World Trade Center bombing, and more. David Rockefeller is who financed the World Trade Centers in 1961. 1961, March 11th, 1961, a little more than 56 years ago. The name Rockefeller in the language of gematria sums to 56 and 110. The World Trade Centers were 110 stories tall. 56 years ago this March, that project, proposed and funded by David Rockefeller, approved in large part by his family, Nelson Rockefeller, who was the 49th governor of New York. Twin Towers in gematria sum to 49. If you're new here, we talk about gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. This is the language the New World Order speaks in, and English is the language of the New World Order. Gematria is the numerical language right behind it, a secret to most. So as a reminder, David Rockefeller, Jewish lineage, one of the chief planners of September 11th, which was a major tribute to Jewish history of the past and the destruction of the two temples. In the Jewish religion, there's a day of remembrance, Tisha B'Av, to remember the destruction of the two temples by the Babylonians. See my blog post that I put out earlier this week on September 11th, Babylon, Iraq, and Saddam Hussein. These are all recurring rituals. But anyway, the two temples were destroyed in history by the Babylonians and the Romans. On September 11th, the two towers came down, and very much for the Zionist, Masonic New World Order agenda, which has everything to do with the Jewish Zionist state of Israel. Anyway, Tisha B'Av in Jewish gematria sums to 911. 911, September 11th, the two towers, Tisha B'Av, the two temples. Solomon's Temple has the same gematria as World Trade Center. There was a film that came out right after 9/11, Monsters, Inc. Go back and watch that film for children. It shows the monsters coming out early in the film. They're all walking out, and behind them's a big clock, and the hands are on 9 and 11, just like David Rockefeller's watch from 1967. The motto in that film is, "We scare because we care," which sums to the same thing as World Trade Center, Solomon's Temple. It's all rituals by the numbers. So David Rockefeller, he was born on a date, June 12th, 1915, date with 33 numerology. He died today, March 20th, 2017, date with 33 numerology. A lot of things that are very interesting about his birth and death numerology. What's most important is this 60 right here. The word order has gematria both 33 and 60, connecting to his date numerology of death, March 20th, 2017. From his last birthday, the day he turned 101, and just think about the number 101. 1, 0, so nothing, 1. So 1, 1, kind of like 11. The World Trade Centers look like massive 11s in the New York City skyline. New York's the 11th state. They came down on the 11th day of the 9th month. 11 years to the day, September 11th, 1990, George H.W. Bush gave his speech about the New World Order, a world freer of terrorism. Then his son was in his first term as president when 9/11 happened. Anyway, from David Rockefeller's last birthday, 101, to today's death is 281 days, which is the 60th prime number. And again, order. We're talking about the New World Order. Order has this gematria of 60. Today's date, 60 numerology, 281 days from his 101st birthday. Prime number relationships are huge. In case you need a refresher on what prime numbers are, they're the numbers that are only divisible by 1 and themselves. So no number divides into 281 besides 281 and 1. Happens to be the 60th prime number. Order. That's what this is all about. September 11th was all about maintaining an order. You know, a military dictatorship, essentially. So now here's where it gets even more interesting. From his death today to what would have been his 102nd birthday, remember the September 11th attack lasted 102 minutes, and it was blamed on Al-Qaeda. We'll talk about that in a second. But from his birthday today until June 12th is 84 days. He would have turned 102, also 2 months and 23 days. United States of America. He was born in New York, died in New York. United States of America has gematria of 84,102. The Civil War to save the United States of America began on the 102nd day of the year, April 12th. Lincoln died on a date with numerology of 84 and 102. That was April 15th, 1865. Special numbers to the history of this nation. David Rockefeller dead 84 days before his 102nd birthday. With regards to Al-Qaeda, Al-Qaeda was blamed for the attack, and in Jewish gematria, Al-Qaeda sums to 102. They said the attack lasted 102 minutes. Don't overlook the 41 either. The date numerology of September 11th, 2001 was 9 plus 11, which is 20, plus 20, which is 40, plus 01 is 41. Al-Qaeda, USA, 41, 41, the 13th prime, 13 colonies, 13 stripes on the flag. Anyway, Al-Qaeda has this 102 coding. The attack lasted 102 minutes. David Rockefeller dead just before his 102nd birthday, 84 days before. 102 minutes is also an hour and 42. Imagine it 1:42. The word terrorist sums to 142. The whole thing was by the numbers 911. Think about how 911 is the National Emergency Dialing Code. We talked about 33 in the beginning, him having birth and death numerology. 911 is the 156th prime number, and when you write out 33 as a word, it sums to 156. We'll talk more about it. But again, David Rockefeller dead 84 days before his birthday. On the equinox has gematria of 84. Masonry has gematria of 84, so does Zionism. Freemasonry, based in ancient Jewish history, Freemasonry, Zionism, the nation of Israel, the U.S. government, all of this interrelated. And don't forget, United States of America, 84. The word Jesuit also has gematria of 84. Here we are in the time of the Jesuit president, Donald Trump, who I think this death is also a ritual for him as well. Remember, the presidents, they are born and bred to be. Trump's known he's going to be a president for a long time. All of this stuff is coordinated. The passing of David Rockefeller, Donald Trump, the president, we'll get to it. Notice also, in addition to the 84 days, it was 2 months, 23 days, 223, very important number to Freemasonry and the Synagogue of Satan, Masonic 223, the Synagogue of Satan 223. With regards to him passing at 101, I'll show you something about the original capital of this nation. Philadelphia has gematria of 101 and 223. And in the Bible, Revelation, the 66th book, there's a letter written to the church of Philadelphia about the synagogue of Satan. And real quick, the synagogue of Satan sums to 223. There's a letter written to the church of Philadelphia about the synagogue of Satan. You see this 888 up here? By the way, Donald Trump, his book, The America We Deserve, which came out January 15th, 2000, which predicted September 11th and Osama bin Laden being responsible, that came out 888 weeks to the day of Inauguration Day for Trump. Donald J. Trump equals 888 in Sumerian gematria. Anyway, Synagogue of Satan 223, Philadelphia. In the Bible, it's a letter to the Church of Philadelphia about the Synagogue of Satan, said to rule in the end times. Notice the 101 coding. Church also has this gematria of 101. It's the Church of Philadelphia that gets the letter about the Synagogue of Satan. Just a little side lesson. But 223, special number. I forgot to show you Masonic. It's Masonic and Jewish gematria, 223. You've probably heard the Masonic motto, or the builder's motto. The Freemasons are builders. Measure twice, cut once. Measure twice, cut once, 223. And not by coincidence. So with regards to it being the equinox today, equinox also has the gematria of 42, like Freemason, like Zionism. The big G on the Freemason compass and square represents 42 in Sumerian and Satanic gematria. The Freemasons are builders, building 42, architect 42. The Freemasons pride themselves on being the keepers of knowledge, knowledge 42. History. Now you know who his story it is. It's the Masonic story. Our history as we know it. Astrology 42, New Testament 42. The New Testament begins with the 42 generations leading up to Jesus. The Bible full of 42 from beginning to end. 42 stops in Exodus. The beast rules for 42 months in Revelation. Okay, so the name Rockefeller. It was 1961, March 11th, he proposed the World Trade Centers be built. And at that point in history, nobody in New York wanted those buildings built because New York already had all this open office space. Landlords could not rent out their offices. They were losing money. And here comes David Rockefeller, who wants to build these massive towers full of office space when office rents are already way down and there's all these vacancies. And he funded and proposed the project, but I don't know if he funded the whole thing. I'm sure they got some taxpayer money in on it. And just think about it. There was no need for these buildings. It's because these buildings were built for a ritual. They were built to be destroyed. If you read about the World Trade Centers, a lot of those floors of real estate were vacant from the time they were built until the day they came down. But anyway, 61 was the year, special year, a number related to time and so much more. Time has gematria of 61, like Jesus, like cross. Notice Jesus and cross both also sum to 74. The World Trade Center is on the 74th meridian. Jesus also sums to 11. We just established the 11. The day the World Trade Centers came down was New Year's Day of the Coptic calendar. The Coptic calendar, which is the Old World Christian calendar. And by the way, Christians has gematria of 66, 66 books in the Bible. Coptic, though, is the number 66. And what's interesting about 66 is if you take 1 through 11, we're talking about the significance of 11. If you add the numbers 1 through 11, they sum to 66. September 11th, New Year's Day of the Coptic calendar. The World Trade Centers came down. Some people say that's Jesus Christ's real birthday. It wouldn't surprise at all if it was. Those buildings lasted from 1968 to 2001, 33 years. Jesus on the cross at age 33. Remember? 911 is the 156th prime number. 156th prime. If you write out 33 correctly, it sums to 156 in ordinal. 156. Space Odyssey, when spelled correctly, sums to 156. In 1968, World Trade Center construction began. 911 was made the national emergency dialing code. George W. Bush graduated from Yale and Skull and Bones. And Space Odyssey 2001 came out, a movie by Stanley Kubrick about technology overtaking man. Think about it. George W. Bush, born on a date with 33 numerology. He's an alumni of Skull and Bones. Bonesman 33. By the way, Bush was the 43rd president. His father, who was also in Skull and Bones, who gave the speech on September 11, 1990, was the 41st president. Skull and Bones 41, 9/11, date with 41 numerology, blamed on Al-Qaeda. So anyway, 56, 61, the World Trade Centers were 110 stories tall. Their demise was blamed on Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden, 110, do you see it? The World Trade Center is 110 stories tall. President in that same format. I'll get some of these other formats out of the way so it's just less eye clutter. President, 110. 110-story World Trade Centers came down 68 days after George W. Bush's birthday. Span of 68 days from his July 6th birthday. George W. Bush born on the 187th day of the year. We'll cover 187. Just remember Rockefeller has the 187 connection. Very important number to Washington, D.C. Remember Washington, D.C., the Pentagon construction began September 11th, 1941. Speaking of 41 and 9/11. David Rockefeller's bank was known as Chase Manhattan Corporation, which also has the gematria of 110. You know, like the name, like how tall the buildings were that didn't need to be built. Chase Manhattan Corporation also has the gematria of 119, like September 11th or 11/9. So check this part out. His birthday is June 12th, 12/6. We just saw Chuck Berry die at 1:26 p.m. His full name, gematria 126. Special number here. June 12th is the 163rd day of the year. And we just saw the passing of Barack Hussein Obama to Donald Trump, who ran on Make America Great Again. Barack Hussein Obama 163, Make America Great Again 163. 163 is the 38th prime number. Number connected to death, also connected to spring. You know, dead on the first day of spring is David Rockefeller, born on June 12th. And so often these ritualistic deaths, they have a riddle with the date of birth and the date of death. Here's this one. Also, him dying at 101, that's the 26th prime number, what is known as the God number. He was a banker, an oil family, a money man. Think about how on the US dollar bill it says, "In God we trust." In God we trust. God sums to 26 like dollar. In God we trust on the dollar. Also like Mason. Masons trying to play God. They got the big G as their symbol. The name Chase also has gematria of 99, like when you write out 13. Whole lot of 13 symbolism on the dollar bill. The history of this nation. The Bavarian Illuminati was established in history May 1st, 1776 with 13 families on a date with 99 numerology. Do you think the Rockefellers are part of that bloodline? Of course. When you write 99, this could be coincidental. Just get a little creative here. When you write 99, it sums to 84. Again, he died 84 days from his birthday. 99 also does have a connection to the United States of America. The United States of America has gematria of 99. Just put the in front of it. 99 connects to 13, 13 colonies, 13 stripes. I don't think it's coincidental. Again, USA equals 41. 41 is the 13th prime. Al-Qaeda 41, September 11th, date with 41 numerology. Chase Manhattan, his bank, also has the gematria of 47. the most important number to Freemasonry. On the date of September 11th, there was building 7, 47 floors tall, 47,000 square feet each floor. Important federal building. The Freemason compass set at 47 degrees. The number 7, the fourth prime number, so 4 and 7 have a relationship. Think about this nation's birthday, the 4th day of the 7th month. Osama bin Laden, the small way, is 47. So today, March 20th, David Rockefeller dead. March 20th, the 79th day of the year. Sorry if you're getting overloaded. I know it's so much information, but just wait, because here comes the Henry Kissinger piece. March 20th, the 79th day of the year. Spring 79, spring equinox. Murder, gematria of 79, very possible he was murdered ritualistically today. The number 79 has a relationship with 93. This is other forms of counting over here, and 121. These are both special numbers. 121 is the square root of 11. 93, World Trade Center bombing. We'll get to it. Flight 93 on 9/11. There's just so much. But anyway, 79, the 22nd prime number. And 22 is the master builder number in numerology. Notice that master builder sums to 147, like Freemason, like conspiracy, and even more sums to 147. So does President of the United States, and at the White House, there are 147 rooms. Washington, D.C., built around the Freemason compass and square, which we'll get to. Standard Oil, the Dynasty family Standard Oil sums to 45, like the word oil. The name Rockefeller also has the connection to 45. Here we are in the time of Trump, powerful, money family, 45th president. 45, the sum of the magic square of Saturn. Here's a little blurb from New York Times reporting today. I'm just going to read this paragraph. Mr. Rockefeller's forays into international politics also drew criticism, notably in 1979. And here he is dead on the 79th day, when he and former Secretary of State Henry A. Kissinger persuaded President Jimmy Carter to admit the recently deposed Shah of Iran into the United States for cancer treatment. The Shah's arrival in New York enraged revolutionary followers of Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, provoking them to seize the United States Embassy in Iran and hold American diplomats hostage for more than a year. It was 444 days. 444. Georgia's the fourth state. There's only 2 states with a gematria of 44. One is Georgia, the other is Wisconsin. So Georgia, the fourth state with the 44 gematria, where Jimmy Carter was from, had the 444-day Iranian hostage crisis. I'm going to show you what 444 has to do with September 11th. But understand, Kissinger and Rockefeller connected to this, and it was Kissinger and Rockefeller who are probably the 2 most responsible planners of September 11th. Kissinger is currently 93 years old. But anyway, more than a year was 444 days. Check out my work on this. Mr. Rockefeller was assailed as well for befriending autocratic foreign leaders in an effort to establish and extend his bank's presence in their countries. So Kissinger and Rockefeller, 2 of the most evil men to walk the planet. Kissinger is born May 27th, 1923, currently 93 years old, approaching his 94th birthday. From the death today of David Rockefeller until his upcoming birthday is 68 days. 68's the year a lot went down. MLK assassinated, Bobby Kennedy assassinated, big year in the world. And again, the year connected to the World Trade Center's 9/11, Bush graduating from Yale and Skull and Bones in New Haven, Connecticut. Bush's birthday 68 days from 9/11. Donald John Trump in gematria sums to 68, and his tallest building, 68 stories. Special number here. So 68 days before Kissinger's birthday, and look at when Kissinger's born. May 27th, the 147th day of the year. Our number connected to the White House and Freemasons. Kissinger has been connected to every single president there's been in the time he's pretty much been alive. This guy's more powerful than any U.S. president. Another Jewish Zionist with a lot of blood on his hands. Here we are in this world where you're not supposed to speak against people like Henry Kissinger that's anti-Semitic, but this guy is allowed to be, on the record, and everyone knows he's murdered everyone. Check out September 11th of Chile. There was a 9/11 in Chile years ago. Pinochet, all of that. Henry Kissinger, that was his call. Here's David back in the day, 1961, agreeing to the financing of the World Trade Center. Old blog post, February 16, 2014 of mine. Didn't know as much back then, but I caught that Twin Towers equaled 49, and Nelson Rockefeller was the 49th governor of New York at the time of the project. 49, that special number. So here's the infamous David Rockefeller cover. April 3rd, 1967. That is the 93rd day of the year, April 3rd. The 93rd day, the number for Saturn, the keeper of time. In this world, the sun's the keeper of time. They tell us the sun's 93 million miles away. In Gematria, God's sun sums to 93. So does crucifix. So does propaganda. They built the new building there called One World Trade Center. There were two, now there's one. One World Trade Center 93. Check this out. This was the 93rd day of the year this cover was. On his watch, if you find the picture of this online, you can zoom in on the watch, and his hands are right on the 9 and 11. They love to do this. On the 93rd day of the year in 1967, this is the year before they broke ground on construction. Well, in 1966, they did break ground. They had the, laying the ground ceremony. But in 1968, in August, is when construction began. So real quick, that was the cover of Newsweek. And I just want to show you everything that's interesting about Newsweek. Newsweek has Gematria of 33, like false flag, like masonry, like secrecy, like order, where we began. So Newsweek also was established in 1933 at the end of Prohibition, the year they legalized alcohol, on a date with 33 numerology. Newsweek also has Gematria of 39. Everything in New York is 39. And New York's 39, NY's 39, NYC's even 39, Empire's 39, the United Nations 39 floors tall. The first governor of New York was George, 39, Clinton, 39, born in 1739. New York was established on a date with 39 numerology. So Newsweek, 33, 39, 105 connects to Zionism, Masonry, more. The other one up here is the 111. And September 11th is the day that leaves 111 days left in the year. New York equals 111. 2 years ago in spring training, I said why the Mets would be in the 111th World Series. Last year before spring training, I said why the Cubs would win the World Series. I said why they'd win it in Game 7 on November 2nd. Haven't done my research yet on this upcoming baseball season, but if you want to get ahead of the game, remember this. Major League Baseball has a 162-game season. Major League Baseball equals 162. The word baseball equals 162. Don't overlook the 54-54 either. If you bust out your Sumerian Gematria, which is where you multiply each letter times 6, MLB is also 162. That's why you got your 162-game season, and that's why it's not so hard to call who's going to be in the World Series in spring training when you know Gematria. I bet you I dedicate a half hour to the World Series. I'll either get it or I'll be real close to getting what the World Series is going to be. Haven't taken the time yet. But April 3rd, 93rd day of the year. That year, April 3rd, 1967, was also a date with 93 numerology. Think about the 93 World Trade Center bombing, Flight 93 of 33 passengers on 9/11. They said there was 7 crew and 4 terrorists as well. Crashed in the Keystone State, Keystone 33. They said the first flight to hit the World Trade Centers on September 11th hit floors 93 through 99. We talked about 93 and 99. Again, Saturn is the keeper of time, Truth Seeker, and in Francis Bacon Gematria, Saturn equals 119. 93 ordinal, 119 Francis Bacon. From February 26th, 1993 to 9/11/2001 was 3,119 days. Remember, the World Trade Centers were proposed March 11th, 1961. March 11th, 2002 is when the tribute and light began, which lasted for 33 nights. 9/11 is the day the towers came down. This number, 3,119, is the 444th prime number. And remember, the Iranian hostage crisis, blamed on David Rockefeller and Henry Kissinger from 79, lasted 444 days. So the thing about 444 is this. Any number with an ordinal gematria of 74 will have a Sumerian gematria of 444. Masonic 74, World Trade Centers on the 74th meridian. Again, some people say September 11th is really Jesus' birthday. Jesus, cross, Messiah. See, any word with a 74 gematria is going to sum to 444. See how this works? It's just a mathematical system. But this is why 444, it's another tribute to the game. Freemasonry is a Jewish and Masonic practice. Okay. So, we talked about Rockefeller, 187 in the name. Let's hit this again, how important this is. This year, Trump had his GOP convention in Cleveland. Cleveland has 33 gematria, one of the only cities that does. The date the convention began was July 18th, 18/7. From that date to Inauguration Day in Washington, D.C. was 187 days. Washington, D.C. equals 187. Named after George Washington equals 187. Rockefeller, 187. Society of Jesus, 187. The Society of Jesus is the Jesuit order. Trump's a Jesuit. The convention was in Ohio. Ohio in gematria, satanic gematria is 187, just like time. Time. And 187 connected to killing throughout history. Think about time, a certain killer. The last Republican president, George W., a tribute to George Washington. George W. Bush was born on the 187th day of the year, July 6th, 1946, date with 33 numerology. He was born a month after Trump, born June 14th, 1946, Flag Day. Something big going on with the 187s. It's because this is who runs the nation, you know? Freemasonry, the Jesuits, the Masonic order within the Catholic Church. Think about U.S. history, the Catholic Church paying for Christopher Columbus to come sail to the Americas, CC 33, you know? Also, with regards to Ohio and president, Ohio 47, president 47, authority 47, White House 47, government 47, Washington, D.C. has gematria 47. The Freemason compass set at 47 degrees. The square set at 90 degrees. That's 137 degrees, which is the 33rd prime number. Washington, D.C. has gematria of 137, 47 degrees on the compass, 90 degrees on the square, around the big G. Remember, big G represents 33. 137 degrees around the big G representing 33. The word authority also has gematria of 137. 137, the 33rd prime. And I just noticed in Francis Bacon, 163, David Rockefeller was born on the 163rd day of the year again. Barack Hussein Obama equals 163. Make America Great Again, 163. Very interesting. So the streets of Washington, D.C., they have this exact angle, the 47 degrees on the compass. George Washington, a 33rd degree Freemason. I mean, the city's named after a Freemason. It's not hard to understand why they got the compass and square in the streets, right? It points right at the White House. The 47 degrees points right at the White House. Again, 47 in the president. Donald Trump, the night of the election, was in the 47-story Midtown Hilton Hotel in Rockefeller Plaza, the night of the election. And with regards to him being in a Hilton that was 47 stories tall, Hilton 33, and oh, what do you know? Another 84 for the Hilton, you know? No surprises there. Some 137's Washington, D.C. authority, White House government. 137, the 33rd prime. The Freemasons have the 47th problem of Euclid about how to establish foundation. Foundation 47, framework 47, the word time 47. And again, with regards to time, the tropics are 47 degrees apart, which measure the solstices, which measure time. And speaking of measurements of time, here we are on the equinox, the death of David Rockefeller. Time, Freemasonry, this is what it's all about. And, before I forget, to measure the Freemasons for their logo have the compass and square, which has gematria of 93. And again, it comes back to measuring time, the sun. They tell us the sun is 93 million miles away. To the occult, the keeper of time is Saturn. Again, God's Son sums to 93. Think about Jesus on the cross, the crucifix. At the time of Christmas in the northern hemisphere, in the southern hemisphere, the sun is lining up with the southern crux. The English language is built on this real-world understanding, and the powers that shouldn't be, the Freemasons, the Zionists at the top, the people like David Rockefeller, they're aware of this knowledge of the ancients. We talked about how Rockefeller equals 56. He died 56 years after the March 11th proposal of 61. Just the other day, on a date with 56 numerology, we saw a New World Order tribute in Paris, France. The bomb going off at the International Monetary Fund. Talk about New World Order. The date had 36 and 56 numerology. Paris, France, 56. Paris, 36. International Monetary Fund has the gematria of 119, just like David Rockefeller's bank. Chase Manhattan Corporation. This happened on the 75th day of the year, New World Order 75. Paris, France also has the 187 code. It's not hard to see. Paris, France, home of the plus 33 International Dialing Code, has the Masonic colors of red, white, and blue like the UK and United States and many other places. Trav W. points out that the first 5 books of the Bible, the Torah, have 187 chapters. Seems that number has something to do with Jewish history. Again, Masonic history based in Jewish history. Real quick lesson, since David Rockefeller was a money man, the bills of the U.S. currency are 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 50, and 100. You add them together, it sums to 188, just like the gematria of Bavarian Illuminati. Again, the Bavarian Illuminati established May 1st, 1776, date with 99 numerology. When you write out 13, it sums to 99. We talked about how this connects to Chase 99. On the pyramid, the all-seeing eye, the bricks, there's 13 layers. 13. USA triangle pyramid, all sum to 41, the 13th prime. Annuit coeptus on the dollar bill. We'll get to Annuit coeptus. Real quick about all-seeing eye, it sums to 119, like Star of David, like 7 bills, which is what we have. All-seeing eye right there on the currency. Master plan 119. The man who established the Bavarian Illuminati, Adam Weishaupt, gematria 51 like conspiracy, established on May 1st. Annuit coeptus has the same gematria as secret society, also matching Freemasonry. Solomon's Temple equals 58. Freemasonic history based very much in Solomon's Temple. Should mention that Washington has gematria of 58 as well as United States when the S exceptions are taken into account. Novus Ordo Seclorum, the other motto on the bill beneath the pyramid, has the gematria of 96 like Freemason. A lot of interesting things in there. Remember the hidden owl on the dollar bill? That owl right up in the corner of the 1. It's amazing, this print that they've been doing for all these years. This is a pretty complicated print. It's been on our currency for a long time. Owl has the gematria of 50 like America. Got an older video here on the dollar bill if you want to go back and check it out. I'm going to link all these posts below. Here's a little bit more information on the 47th problem of Euclid. If you write out 47th problem of Euclid as words, it sums to 333. The Zionist nation of Israel was established on the 333rd day of 1947. There were 33 member votes by the United Nations recognizing Israel as a nation on that date. 33 votes on the 333rd day of the year. 47th problem of Euclid has a number of 333 connections. The Masonic monument to George Washington in Alexandria, Virginia is 333 feet tall. That angle on the dollar bill, it's also 23.5 degrees. Just like how each leg of the compass and square are kicked out at 23.5 degrees. It's because the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn, which measure the solstices, 23.5 degrees north, 23.5 degrees south, 47 total degrees. They said in Trump's first month of office, he created 235,000 jobs. 235. Some more information on the compass, 47,333. The compass on the Freemason website stands for circumscribe our desires and keep our passions within due bounds. That sums to 333. On the compass that's set at 47 degrees. Again, Freemason history based in ancient Israel history, the Zionist nation of Israel, established in 47 on the 333rd day of the year. So we know what they mean when they say circumscribe our desires and keep our passions within due bounds. That means do whatever you want. Lie to people about anything, blame a terrorist attack on Osama bin Laden and, blame it on radical Islam when really it's radical Zionism. We give money to Israel who did this to us. Do you remember how George W. Bush used to call Osama bin Laden cave dweller? I want you to notice that cave dweller sums to 47, 110. I can't even believe that it sums to 187. Osama bin Laden, 110, 47 as well. And also 79. Interesting. David Rockefeller dead on the 79th day of the year. David Rockefeller, that's the name that people should associate with September 11th. Not Osama bin Laden, the made-up boogeyman name. Remember, the bin Laden family is a powerful oil family just like the Rockefellers. Don't forget that. Also, 47th problem of Euclid sums to 333. The compass is set at 47 degrees and stands for a motto that sums to 333. Whole lot of things coded into that definition for what the compass symbolizes. If you follow my channel, you know what all these numbers represent in regards to Freemasonry. I'm going to link this post as well. Recent discovery, we cracked the code fully for 42 in the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, what it's all about. The question in the story and the film is, what is the answer to life, the universe, and everything? Life, the universe, and everything sums to 147. Think about Henry Kissinger, the man who can get away with anything he wants, born on the 147th day of the year. 93 years old, living a long, healthy life with, all sorts of blood on his hands. The motto in that film, Don't Panic, Gematria of 147, Dr. Saunders, main character, 147, Big Bang, huge part of the film. Big Bang, 147, like Freemason, like Kabbalah, which is the English form of this gematria. Conspiracy, 147, outer space, Freemasons in outer space. Big Bang, just so you know, look at this. Math, 42, Big Bang, 42, outer space, 42, Freemason, 42, equinox, 42. We live in a world where we have everything figured out months before it happens, years before it happens. The planetary alignments, the eclipses, the solstices, it's all mathematics. In that movie, it's Deep Thought, the computer that asked the question, which has Gematria 42. And here's George W. Bush, Gematria 58, like Freemasonry. George W. Bush, born on the date with 33 numerology. From his birthday to September 11th, 67 days, or a span of 68. George Washington, dead at 67. He was born on July 6th. Freemasonry has gematria of 67. But again, that span is 68 days, too. Part of Yale's Skull and Bones, 322. The reflection of 223, our Masonic number. Remember this, military industrial complex sums to 322, and that's what it's all about, you know. War and money, 322. World Trade Center coordinates, 74th meridian. You know, think about how the One World Trade Center is on that now. Jesus and Cross, 74. Crucifix, 93. One World Trade Center, 93. So there it is, Truth Seeker. That's why Henry Kissinger is really dead today. Very specific date. Major New World Order tribute. Major September 11th tribute. Hopefully in the future when we get the knowledge out, when we talk about 9/11, we'll talk about the tyrants, David Rockefeller, Henry Kissinger, instead of the boogeyman, Osama bin Laden, the cave dweller. You know, those days need to be over. The days of the Masonic history need to be over. Until next time. Encore Truth Seeker. With regards to Nelson Rockefeller, the 49th governor when David Rockefeller proposed the World Trade Center project, notice he died in the year 79. The name Nelson in gematria also sums to 79. And with regards to the 33 connections, he was born July 8th, 1908, a date with a life lesson number of 33. 7 plus 8 plus 1 plus 9 plus 0 plus 8 equals 33. You know, very special number. All right, Truth Seeker. Until next time.